distortions that are going on in our society. Now, we are going to be discussing this. I have two people with me, and one of the persons with me is Miss Florence Obaseki. She is a lover of God. She's a businesswoman. She is the pioneer of Ladies of Valor, a platform where ladies are birthed to stand for Christ and bond for Him continuously. Also with me is Mr. Kingsley Edino. He is a researcher, he's an entrepreneur, he's a minister, he is an author also, and he's an inspirational speaker. You're welcome, sir. It's good to have you. Now we are going to be discussing having the Bible in mind, because a lot of people outside the kingdom of God will not agree with some of the things we are going to be saying, because it will not make sense to them. But remember that in the book, we have in the book of Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20, that tells us that woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitterness for bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Now in this part of the country, or in our country, we may not be having issues of polyandry yet, but there are other distortions going on in relationship. So I would like to start with you, sir. What's responsible for the rise in these ungodly practices in relationships?
Thank you very much. The truth of it is, in recent times, there is this quest to explore as well as experience what I will describe as the impossible. Human beings are becoming impossible, both in our reasoning, in our appetites, and in our definition of what we call pleasure. The implication of the statement is this: what is normal is now termed as old-fashioned, while what is abnormal is now seen as the in thing. And the definition of the abnormal, which is now described as the in thing, is that the more reckless and unreasonable your practice, especially in relationship, the more important or celebrated our generation tend to regard you or even place you. For instance, there are cases of transgender which sound absurd in years ago, but now it's the normal thing. You know, you say you're no more comfortable with your gender. Like now I'm a man, a male man. The next thing I say, I feel like being a female. And the next thing, you go for surgery, and both psychologically and physiological changes, trying to make what is not to become it. And it will amaze you that I will get more followers than the normal people. So then in relationships also, people tend to say that, like we're talking off camera some few minutes ago, some feel you can't get it all in one relationship. But to make sure you don't miss it, that is, you can eat your cake and have it, so you need to go the extra mile to make sure that which you think is missing in your present relationship, you augment for it by making up in an unconventional way. I don't want to put the horse before the cart or running ahead of myself, but these are motives behind why people do the things they do. Because unlike in the past, let us say if maybe you're trying to work on a relationship and you get 65 to 70% of what you feel is your desire in a partner, you are good to go, while the remaining 30, you work on it. But now, nobody's ready to work on the 30. You rather keep the 70 and also look for how to go get the 30 so it will be completed.
Okay. You are single. We have seen in this part of our immediate environment, we see people who are not married, yet they live together as couple. They live as though they are married. Why would someone want to do that? Why will I, as a lady, live with a boyfriend?
Thank you.
Is it normal? Should that be it?
All right, thank you so much. Well, it's so abnormal for you to live with someone you're not married to. Staying with the person at home, it's so abnormal. Yes. That's what we call sexual immorality, because you staying with that person in his house or her house, sexual activities tends to take place. Yes. And sexual immorality means sexual activities that takes place within the marriage or outside the marriage, such as adultery, which goes on between married people. One of the person having an affair with another person, and fornication, which is unmarried people, having an affair together. So it's so wrong for you as a single lady or a single guy to go stay with a guy or stay with a lady in his or her house. It's so, so wrong.
I'm going to come back to something you said,
Okay.
but let me ask Mr. Kingsley. You are married, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, why do spouses sometimes ask their partner or put pressure on their partner to violate their marital vow? Now, let me give an instance where the family needs financial assistance, and then one person is pressured to, have an affair with another man to get money and use in the home. Now, the husband or the wife is in the know. He has consented to this. Why? Why would a spouse decide to do this?
Yeah, what you said does happen. And when you say consented to, I will even help you to explain it better now that the consent may not be overtly a consent to the knowledge of the third party. In some cases, it's a covert consent that is between the two partners, between the husband and the wife. So can I know this is what is going to happen. But you don't even need to make the third party, where the money is going to come from, know that I am aware. That is, you look the other way around so that the needs are met. Now, there are two reasons I will prefer for this type of activities in a marriage setting. The first is the lack of faith for the supernatural. That not minding the need on ground, if God cannot give me, then I don't need it. It depends on the philosophy of the home. Because, and when I say philosophy of the home here, I want to say that it is not just sex and love that actually holds a marriage together. There are principles and values that the couple coming together should uphold. That worst case scenario, if we find ourselves in a situation like this, these are our boundaries. These are things we can do. These are things we cannot do. You don't come to the point of this type of decision in the face of the challenge. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying now. You take certain decisions like this before situations like this pop up. So when it pops up, your decision is already made, awaiting the situation. So it's not an emergency. However, in the other case, to answer the question now, there are individuals that, though married in quote, has no rules. It's true that perfect love casts out fear, and there is no law in love. But actually, I see it this way from my own experience in marriage, that there are actually unwritten laws in marriage. Unwritten in the sense that even though it is not written on the wall that rule number 1, we shall not do this, we shall not do that. I've lived with my partner for a period of time that over time she can say that if in this scenario or this situation, this is what my partner can consent to. I mean, in my absence or even in my presence. So some consent to this type of thing, looking the other way and giving the nudge, not only to the lady going out now to bring the money to be used at home, there are men also that are involved in this. I want us to get it. It's not like the blame game now. I recall a lady that was offered a job. The husband was out of job that season. And the job, the panel told her that you are very beautiful. The target we're giving you, we don't even need you to come to the office. We'll attach an official card to you. We know where the clients are. We know the hotels where they are. If you can just go meet them, they are ready to invest with us. But there's a transaction between you and them, your body, and all of that. She's gotten 2 kids. As at the time we had this conversation, she turned down the offer and they went through a very rough time as a family. But the long story is at the end, the man, I'm still in touch with the family today. The man is doing very well, family restored. I mean, the fortune of the family restored and all of that. So now I'll put it this way that some couple failed this test by yielding to the pressure, which eventually, even if the needs are met, let me tell you the truth. You consented and she goes out, brought the money home, and the needs are met. But I'll be honest with you, when the so-called peace or needs are being met, there is an after effect. Trust is lost.
For each other.
Apart from losing respect, the trust factor is lost. That the next time maybe he travels is out of, where are you? Well, I don't know if you get the point. Then, both will never be bold to tell us when there is a real crisis now. The real reason for the crisis may not even be the issue that birthed the crisis. It's actually what the partner knew about the other person. That is really the cause of the current crisis. It's not the current issue.